boyfriend. He don't know anything
about
about
her.
He's too stoned to
Dude,
know.
pop punk is making a comeback right now, and I'm stoked. I'm so happy.
I don't like punk music. You know what bothers me?
No, it's pop punk though. It's not like
Yeah.
it's not like real like hardcore punk, but it's like, you know, poppy punk. It's like
So okay, so this,
Yeah.
but this is my problem with the whole genre. It's the
yeah.
I hate those drums.
It's that Blink
oh
182,
my god!
It's that Travis. And you know why it all sounds like that? Because Travis Barker is producing all these new artists. It's super smart. He's produced, and so he's drumming on a lot of this stuff too. So it's just like, oh, it's like a Blink riff, and then somebody else is singing on it. It's great.
I'm sorry to all the people that like that music. I just.
I'm living for it. I'm so stoked.
Yeah. What were we talking about? Oh, right. It's not so round table time.
It isn't. It's still not round.
Still not round.
It's a table though.
It is, but it is a table. Welcome to episode 161 of the Not So Round Table. I'm joined today by Ryan.
It's me.
Yeah.
Ryan.
It's the Ryan and Matt takeover. I don't know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna
Welcome
answer some
back. What have you
questions,
been
right?
up to since the last time we saw you?
I've been working a lot. I've
Yeah.
been doing a lot of camera assisting jobs and stuff. So I've been working on a lot of like music videos and commercials and stuff like that. So it's been good. I've been real busy. Yeah,
it's been tough too because we haven't played any airsoft in
dude, I haven't played
more
like,
than a year.
Dude, it's been like a year and a half, maybe
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
Like I meet people sometimes on set that are like, oh, like I used to play airsoft, and I'm like, I used to too.
yeah.
I'm still involved, but I used to play airsoft too. Yeah, but it's like now I think we should make an effort to like go out and play at some
Well,
point.
so that's what I was getting to is the nice thing about being away from something is
Oh, yeah.
you desire it,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like we've been without,
Yeah.
and the itch is back because
Yeah.
after some time like you lose that itch to go play.
Yeah, when you've been doing it for like every weekend
Yeah.
for a month or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I get it.
And so it's God, it feels,
And now,
it feels good.
and I don't know about you, but I have all this gear that I bought over quarantine because I had nothing else to do, and now I'm like, I should probably use some of this.
I resisted,
Did you?
didn't I?
Didn't we buy? I thought we bought armor.
Oh,
Oh, we did buy. I mean, not that we
yeah.
can't use that for
Yeah,
airsoft,
yeah,
but
sorry,
like
yeah,
we
we
did
did.
buy. We did buy. We did buy a lot of things. I do remember because
Right.
then we have this like group chat, and we'll like be sending each other links in the group chat. And
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, wouldn't it be fun if you bought this? It's on sale. I'll be like, no.
Speaking of sending your friends links, the comment section is a great place to share with others products that you like. Maybe if you guys want to comment below on maybe something that you bought that was airsoft related over the quarantine.
What was
We'd love
your-
to hear what
yeah.
you guys, what guilty purchase did you spend your stimulus on over there?
Yeah.
over
What was your biggest or most favorite
Yeah.
quarantine airsoft purchase?
And if you're in a country that didn't have a stimulus check,
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, we did. We all spent it on stupid
USA,
stuff.
USA.
When it works, it works.
Yeah, for like what, like
And you guys know how the show works. We collect your questions from previous episodes, which will be 160. And if you missed that one, our good friend Dave Bax from Airsoft Obsessed was on and had a lot of good things to say. I thought it was a good episode. Not enough people
fun.
watched it, but if you're here, you should go watch it if you haven't seen it yet. We collect those questions. They go into our Helm of Reasoning. And let's get it rolling.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
Ryan, you want to start us off?
Ooh, there's a lot of questions here this time around.
I mean, there were not a lot of comments in the last episode.
Oh.
So it's tough because if you guys don't comment, we can't answer questions.
But there are a lot of pieces of paper in here. Oh, maybe it's because they're folded over.
Yeah, I folded them
okay.
up.
Just
Yeah,
kidding.
Unfortunately, there's
more.
only about like 6 questions.
Oh,
so,
okay.
yeah, we're gonna chug through this
the
quick.
6 questions we folded over to make it feel like 12.
Yeah, the surprise.
Cool. Let's see what this question is. KJ Cassette Studios. Starting topic for each episode. What new product has just hit the market?
That's a really interesting concept.
Yeah.
We talked about, I think in 160, about doing like an opening something for each episode, and I threw this question in because I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah,
and
I think so too.
Maybe this is something we can start doing.
Yeah.
Ryan, what new products do we have releasing at the time of
Behind
this film?
us. What is that?
What is it?
Is it another M4? It's not.
Well, I mean, there are M4s on the wall. We should
No,
be more
but, like,
specific
look at
because
the
you're
one that's
probably
not
sitting
an
in front of it.
Yeah.
Here it comes. Anybody go to Shakey's when they were kids and they had that game with the belts where you'd slide the quarter and try to land it sideways?
Oh yeah, it's the dump truck one, right?
No. It was a moving belt. It was like a treadmill.
Oh, that one was awful.
And then it had like pink and green
Yeah,
strips.
because you had to line it in the middle of those lines.
and you're
like,
trying to throw the
exactly.
quarter. Yeah. And so then so what I learned is if you go real severe angle and you try to bounce it off the wall.
Oh, it'll slow it up.
You can get, yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, the guy in the audio would always go, "Here it comes."
Yeah.
Anyway, there you go.
And it would just always miss. Yeah, I gave up on that game because it was just too hard. I like the games with the spinning lights, where you have to stop the light.
I can't do that.
Dude, I won a fair amount of prizes out of those games. Yeah.
I feel like I watched you do it at round 1.
Oh, probably, yeah.
The one that goes around sideways.
Yeah. So, but a lot of them are rigged.
They're all rigged. All of the games are rigged.
Yeah, but if you can figure out, I don't know, it depends on the odds that they set for the machine. Anyway.
Let's talk about what's coming, or what's here. If you haven't already seen the review, we have filmed that review, and we tried to be as in-depth as possible because we knew a lot of people would look at this and go, "Oh, it's a P90. What's so special about the P90?" Agreed,
though, because I feel like Crytek, out of all the brands, usually, even if it looks relatively plain on the outside, they usually make little minor tweaks and stuff like that to kind of refine the design of a lot of stuff. Like their Nautilus gearbox and in their version 2, like they threw that pre-built MOSFET in, that kind of thing. The little things like radius, cylinder head windows, and all those other stuff. So I like that Crytek generally is pretty detail oriented when it comes to that, even if it's not the most extravagant looking exterior.
Well, and one of the biggest. I think one of the biggest problems that a brand can fall into is just kind of repeating what they've done before, and then just throwing in like, "Oh, well, we'll just put some electronics in it," or like, "Oh, well, we've done this before, we know it works, let's just do that." But they went back to the drawing board with this,
with the P90 especially,
and added a lot of features that have never existed on P90s. And again, if you haven't watched the review, you absolutely should, because we go into depth about the internals and some of the materials choices and things. And there's even more exciting stuff coming. So,
do you have a favorite feature about this new P90?
So I know a lot of people will like the adjustable trigger, not just for its spring adjustability. So, so the trigger is interesting because you have 2 ways of adjustment. There's an access hole on the back of the thumb hole back here, where you can actually adjust the throw distance of the trigger, the travel until it hits the micro switch, because something interesting on this is in order to get you a really snappy trigger response, they've gone with a couple micro switches that make the whole system function together. But it also has a changeable spring, so you can actually have a changeable pull weight. So I think that's cool, but that's not my favorite feature. Honestly, my favorite feature is the charging handle and hop-up access. And if you've ever used a P90, you'll know what a pain accessing the hop-up window is on any P90, because it's got, 1, it's a tiny little window, and 2, it's got like a little slot cut that they intend for you to use like your fingernail or like a screwdriver, and it's always really hard to open. And then once you do, you can't really reach in there to make your adjustments. So not only does the charging handle give you that access by racking the charging handle, which is super cool, but also the window's big enough that you can get it open with a glove and still make those adjustments. And it's got a really nice positive click on the. I'm not a huge fan of like magazines that stop firing.
Yeah, the auto cutoff magazines. I mean, for some people that'll be cool. I actually really like 2 things. 1, I like that they chose to go the route of a quick change spring guide in the back that's like readily accessible, like without any tools. Like I can just pop off the back and change the spring. So for me, especially testing, if I'm like building higher speed or higher power builds, like just being able to throw in springs like in 10 seconds saves me so much time.
And this will do it.
And I don't know if you guys remember, or if you guys were playing back when these were the guns to go high speed. Like this was the high speed gun. Like if you saw someone of these like ripping like 50 RPS, like when nobody else like could. They had like they would put the box mag in the back and then put a fat like brick lipo right here where the magazine would usually
in
go.
a little cage.
That was like the look. And so to me that this just helps like with that whole design element to it.
And speaking of high speed, something that we didn't discuss in the review, and we left it out intentionally, but I'm gonna spoil it here because I think 90% of the people who care aren't watching the NSRT anyway. But so this one right here, like this is our production model, right? And the first thing that we did was we DSG'd it.
Oh, nice.
So this is currently DSG.
Oh, this is a DSG in this one?
Yeah,
nice.
And not only is it DSG'd, but we didn't have to change any electronics.
Oh yeah,
we just threw in a DSG and it functions fantastic. Now, with the DSG, I think we put a 150 in it, 160, and it's pumping out like just about 300 FPS and about 38 rounds per second.
That's pretty good.
Which is very, very nice. It's super snappy.
Is that using the stock motor?
Yes.
That's pretty good.
So if you wanted to play at Battle Lab or whatever, you probably would want to go with a slightly slower motor so you can get your rate of fire down a little bit. I wouldn't even suggest changing the electronics, because if the MOSFET can handle a DSG, I don't know what else you'd want.
Plus, I don't think that there is necessarily anything better as far as MOSFETs go that you could replace into this. Like a lot of the other systems are, you're replacing the whole trigger board.
Right.
But this is kind of like its own thing because of the microswitch trigger.
Right.
But a lot of times when you replace it, you're trying to get that microswitch trigger in there anyway.
Yeah.
So
and any
that's pretty
aftermarket
cool.
system you'd have to jerry rig in there anyway, since I don't think anybody makes a version 6 type deal.
Not that replaces the board. You could go with like an inline MOSFET. There's ways to do that, but then the wiring for that is a little, to me, it was a little complex because of the way that the trigger contacts kind of piggyback off each other.
Yeah.
My personal opinion.
Yeah.
But some people are probably like, oh, it's super easy. Yeah, well, you're cool.
So the P90 is up for pre-order now, the EMG Crytek P90. I think the PID is 44927.
Yeah.
And by the time you're seeing this in September, pre-orders should already be coming in. Yeah. So if it's still up for pre-order, I encourage you to get them because they are going to sell fast.
Yeah.
But you won't have very long to wait once they're in.
Yeah, definitely put in your pre-orders now because this is really cool. And I didn't see them going with, when they announced this, I was just like, oh, that's not what I expected at all.
Yeah. But I think it's also one of those situations where you just can't please anybody. If they had done another M4 version, everyone would just been like, oh, it's just an M4. Or if they had done anything, everybody would have just been like, oh, well, why didn't you do this? And so it doesn't matter. Like if you like P90s, or even if you have never liked P90s, try it.
Yeah.
And it will convert you, I promise.
Yeah. And at the very least, like this is also one of the very few high-end P90 options that's still available. And they definitely took a lot of attention to detail in the plastics on the outside. That was my biggest issue with a lot of like as much as I like the original Tokyo Marui P90, the outside they're creaky, and it's kind of a limitation of their plastic molding technology of the time. But like this one, it's got a nice finish on it. It doesn't creak nearly as much. All the metal on it feels nice and solid. Everything fits together.
Nice the whole upper is full aluminum.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like creaky and plasticky. Yeah. So if you are interested in something like that and just having a nicer example of a P90, definitely look into picking one of those up. Oh. Like swan dive.
There you go, into the next question. All right, this one is from the Airsoft Chef.
Oh.
He didn't type that.
What is he whipping up?
I don't know how to, he's whipping up these questions. All right, the Airsoft Chef asks, hey guys, I've been playing for 15 years. That's almost as long as I've been playing.
Dude, wait, yeah, has it been? Because I started playing like 2008, 2007.
Well.
Is that longer than that?
Wait, 2007 plus 10 years would be 2017 plus 5 years. You're at 15 years.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's a while.
Well, next year, 2022, you'll be
close enough.
Yeah.
That's still way too much time.
Yeah. Dude, I've been playing since I was 14. Okay, so I'm 33 now.
What is that? Is that like 19 years?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's
long.
It's
long. Anyway, here we go. We'll get through the question. Airsoft Chef asks, hey guys, I've been playing for 15 years and my friend has been playing for 20, and people look at us like we're ancient players. I mean,
yeah, you are.
And people look at us like we're ancient players. My question is it unusual?
Actually, I mean, I wouldn't say like older players are unusual, but for someone to stick with this particular hobby for that long, I would say yes. There is a definite age out period of Airsoft that we've noticed. The people, at least in the U.S., I think it's different in other countries though. But at least in the U.S., a lot of people will get to about 18 to 20 something range, and then start to be able to, like get better jobs and stuff like that, and like be of age to then buy real firearms. And then they do get into real firearms at that point, and then a lot of times that kind of sucks up all their money and time.
Right. Well, but that's something unique to Americans, or like United States.
Or like countries that allow you to own firearms and that kind of stuff. But I've noticed in European countries, Asian countries, you can have a player base that still continues to do that for much longer.
Yeah, especially countries like the UK where like they're not as accessible or as affordable. And so if you're going to be into it, like you're going to be into it for a longer period of time. I will say though that while older players, I mean, you've been playing for a long time, but I will say though that around here anyway, there's this phenomenon where people get into the hobby and then they may leave for a number of years, and then we see a lot of people come back as they're old, like once they finish college or have a career or whatever, and then they come back when they're older or when they have a kid, and then all of a sudden you get these dads who are just like, oh dude, I played, I was shopping with Evike back in 2002, and I'm back now, so I think that's really cool.
I think the most interesting thing to see those customers that come back is to show them the technology and the quality of things, and for the price especially. A lot of them are like mind blown, like especially like, or at least a lot of the real gun guys that I talk to that are now like super into real guns, and I'm like, hey, you know, Airsoft's gotten a lot better, and they're like, I show them some examples, and they're like, whoa,
it's not clear.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, it's not creaky, like it's not made out of plastic, and it's like, for how much? And I'm like, yeah, it's, you know, the technology and economies of scale have grown over the years, and it's a much better market to shop in as a consumer than it was like when we started playing.
Yeah. So to answer your question formally, yes, you're ancient.
Yeah.
No, it's not unusual.
Yeah.
Thanks for your question, Airsoft Chef.
Keep playing.
You want to do another one?
Yeah.
It's good to have you on the Not So Round Table.
Yeah. Thanks. Good to be on.
Good to be on. Thanks.
Douglas Rice. Could you debate the pros and cons between a bolt action sniper or a DMR? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I don't own either.
I do.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, you do.
So I have a VSR-10 with a King
yeah.
Arms gas bolt.
Yeah.
From years ago, which they no longer make. And there are a couple companies who make them now, and they're far better.
Yeah.
So I took that King Arms one apart, and I put those, you know those blue sorbo pads we used to sell, like the gel sorbo pads? So I put that inside the lockup of the gas cylinder. So, because usually when they slam forward, they make this like this whack, and then I quieted it down, and dude, it's almost as quiet as a Mark 23 for a sniper rifle, which I think is fantastic. And then I have I would consider
the 417.
The 417 a DMR.
Kinda.
Despite the fact that it can go full out.
Though, right?
What? Well, I mean, it's long when I put the suppressor on it.
Okay.
And then it's long. But no, so having both of these, I've never really used my VSR-10.
Or your.
And I used my 417 for like 2 games, and then I realized that the magazines suck.
Where'd you take that?
We took it to SC Village. We had an event.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was really disappointed.
Womp womp.
Yeah, and I put a whole bunch. I mean, I put the retro gearbox in it.
I remember. You spent a lot of time and money in that. I was like, man, you got to collect them all, I guess.
It's one of those things where, like, you know, you want it more than you need it, and then you convince yourself that you need it, and then you find out that you really didn't like the flavor of that dessert.
Yeah.
So then, so the merits of bolt action versus, let's call it an AEG.
Or like
DMR.
some sort of semi-auto like precision rifle platform.
Assuming it's locked out. Okay, we're gonna make the assumption that it's not a full auto.
We're assuming that you're playing with some sort of rule set that restricts you to this thing.
Advantages, disadvantages?
I'd say that I think a lot of it is just kind of in the overall power that you can get out of it. Like if you're playing with, you know, fields that are a little bit more lenient, or like a private game or something like that, where you can like really crank the power. Like you can get some bolt action sniper rifles like really strong, and to get that power in a bolt action sniper rifle is a tiny bit more accessible than doing it on a semi-auto platform.
Simpler system.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's easy, because both systems require a lot of tuning and a lot of really heavy springs that might break a lot of things along the way, especially if you don't assemble them correctly.
True.
But I'd say that it's just a little bit more accessible on a bolt action platform, and I think that the other pro would probably be being able to play in a rule set, because a lot of milsim games and stuff are like, okay, if you're a sniper, they have to be some sort of like slower bolt action system that is going to take more time to like work. And to that point, though, a lot of people do like running the bolt, and that's like part of the fun for them. So if that's part of the fun for you,
makes you feel like a sniper and not just a rifleman with long range.
Exactly. So I'd say that that's probably the biggest advantages of the bolt action platform. But the DMR, like, I think is more practical in a lot of ways.
Sure.
I think it's a little bit more versatile. I think that for most power limits that you are allowed to play with, the DMR is going to fit a wider range of applications, assuming that you're not going too crazy with the FPS and you're playing in a field set that allows you to, you know, use it.
Also, as far as like upgrades are concerned, I think kind of the better bolt action hop-up units are better than the better AEG hop-up unit. Like, so even like a really well-made or really well-built R-hop, flat hop, still doesn't really hold a candle to some of the really nice sniper, bolt-action sniper hop-up units. And so you're going to get, I think, not only increased barrel length, because most bolt-action snipers tend to be quite a bit longer. So you're getting that barrel advantage, and you're getting the hop-up advantage. So you'll maybe get a little bit more accuracy, or I'd like to think you would. I
think so. There's like a little bit less, I think there's a little bit less moving parts in there that allow for a little bit more precision.
Now, I will say that I think the best sniper DMR combos I've seen for stealthiness, accuracy, and distance have been HPA DMRs.
Yeah.
Because the drawback to the AEG route is everyone can hear your gearbox. It's as quiet as you can make it, but you'll hear that. So if you're trying to be super quiet, if you just hear this like, doo, 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 like you know, someone's got a HPA DMR. And it's usually the Polar Star guys or the guys from Wolverine, and they're like in some bush, like it's like. Boop, 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 boop,
or Dave had that G28, right? That was HPA'd,
which is absurd. I don't know why you did that.
But I mean, because he can carry it.
That's true.
Big strong man.
Big strong Russian bear man.
Carry gun and big HPA tank.
Yeah. Shall we? Shall we? All right. Our next question comes from A Fox. I don't want to do the whole thing again.
Fox.
We're not doing it again. Okay. Hey, Insert, how does the EPS Upgrade Service work?
Well, I don't know. So you should fill me in because I might need to use this service at some point because I have no time to build things.
There you go. Okay, so for those that don't know, Evike Performance Shop is a super high-end custom line of AEGs available here at Evike.com that are really gone through with a fine-tooth comb. And while they compete on a performance level with some of the top-tier custom guns on the market, they're more, I think, competently priced, replacing just the things in an AEG that need to be replaced to achieve a standardized performance goal. Most shoot near to or almost exactly at 30 rounds per second and have a set FPS, and they're designed to work perfectly for you without breaking the bank.
And I like that there's a variety to them.
There is a wide range.
Because I feel like a lot of custom shops, and I'm not. This is not blaming other custom shops, but I think that a lot of custom shops, in order to streamline their product lines, will choose from a smaller selection of guns to upgrade and offer as like turnkey products. But I feel like because we have access to a lot of
huge inventory,
variety of guns available to build. And we have technicians that do have the time to make said builds. You do get a variety, like you get like MP5s and like different like F1 M4s and
AKs
and salient stuff, like all across the board. So there's more of a variety in types of guns that you can buy that have a higher performance level, as opposed to maybe having to go to a custom shop and then have something custom built, like to order for that specific use case.
And because it's based on inventory and the parts that are available to build them, small batches are made to be kept in inventory at any given time. So if you're on the Evike Performance Shop page on our website, there may be some that are in stock. And they regularly go out of stock because we only build a certain amount at a time, so somewhat limited. But we also have a service to build your own. So if you wanted a specific product built into an Evike Performance Shop level of quality for a custom, you can always reach out to us at EPS@Evike.com, shoot an email, and they can give you the information on how to get that ball rolling. We also have a specific product page that can give you a little bit more information, and the PID for that is 19931 if you wanted to look up that specific page, but you can get to that page through the Evike Performance Shop kind of like tab on our website. And I really like that service because if there's something that you don't see, or if there's something that you see that's out of stock, we can build that to order based on what you're looking for, and you can change things if you want to go for something a little bit more custom. So
custom performance.
There you go, custom performance. Customization. Evike Performance Shop. I'd say a healthy amount of my guns are EPS builds now. Like minus my, what, 416?
Two 416s, right?
Two 416s. So my two 416s are not EPS.
Bren.
Oh, the Bren.
I built the Bren.
Yeah.
Did I build anything else? No, it's supposed to be just that. That 416 build is still one of my favorites that I've ever done. Yeah, it's just good. And I'm like, I can never build a better gun than I can build off 416s for some weird reason.
Here's what I don't understand, right? Like the usual like time period that you can keep a piston going. Let's say on like most of our builds. I don't know, a year?
No, 2 years? No, but like
You have not touched my 416 in years.
Oh yeah, cool. Because when I built all those guns, I like reinforced all the pistons and stuff, and I like corrected the angles of engagement on it. So then they should run
forever
for as long as the super glue that's holding the rack in doesn't explode.
You super glued my rack?
Yeah, because otherwise it'll blow out the back end. Yeah.
Now I know. The more you know.
Yeah, it's being held together by super glue.
That's all you need to fix your gearboxes. Lube? Super glue.
Don't super glue in your bearings.
Don't do that. I'm just kidding.
We have a bad time. You're like, right.
I can't wait to see the EPS builds for the P90.
Oh, it's gonna be so cool.
It's gonna be insane.
We should offer a 50 RPS gun just.
When use it where?
Yeah.
This is the point of EPS, is you want it to be the maximum performance that most fields will allow.
Yeah, but just like a one-off that you can like just because we can kind of do that.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's
why I do things.
Yeah,
because
we're still not fitting a 14.4 in that. 14.8, 14.
No, but with the box mag. With the box mag, we can fit it on top.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Next question.
Jason Hernandez asks, hey Insert, my question would be, do y'all think Airsoft has gotten very materialistic over the years compared to just showing up and having fun and enjoying the sport? For example, having to buy the most expensive gear or guns to stand out and perform or prove a point. It's a great question. I like this question a lot because I think it applies to not just Airsoft, but a lot of other hobbies.
Yeah, and we're both guilty of.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I definitely have, like the amount of gear that I needed to have fun, like the minimum that I needed to have fun, I think stopped maybe at least 5 years ago. Like
you can play Airsoft in a hooded sweatshirt, full CLI Pro, or like a full face mask and gloves. Like you don't need anything.
So I will say though, the one thing that I did spend more money at first that I didn't think I needed to spend more money at first on was really good full face protection.
Yeah.
Like the dye mask that I have improved my playing experience like at least 50%.
Yeah.
Because it's just, it works, it slides on as one piece and stuff. So stuff like that I'd say is worth dropping the money on. A reliable gun is worth dropping the money on.
Yeah.
But stuff that goes outside of that, like all the fancy gear and like
Cry pants.
Yeah, multiple pairs of cry pants. UF Pros, different vests for each color and stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, variety.
Yeah, but it's not necessary in order to have a good time.
Yeah.
I think that your good time is more dependent on the
who you're playing with.
Who you're playing with and who you're playing against too. Like just having everybody like at the field be like chill and not like shrugging hits, not causing fights and stuff like that. I think lends more to a good experience than just having gear. Because I've definitely played with a lot of really expensive gear against players that were not so high quality.
Yeah.
And they just made the day very not enjoyable.
I was gonna say, like, I think one of my most fun experiences, I would like to think it was one of yours too, is when we were doing the Springer games.
Oh, those are great.
And we're running around with like, dude, these are like $12 Springers.
Or less.
And we're wearing like, I mean, yeah, we had our gear on, but like you could have just taken that off.
Yeah, we didn't need it. Yeah.
And we just wore it kind of, have it because it looks fun on YouTube. But like,
it was just like my belt was on mostly for my water to carry my water with. Yeah, but I really didn't need all that expensive stuff. Yeah, the most expensive thing that I think was necessary was again my mask.
Yeah.
And that was something that I'm like, yeah, that's worth the $150 investment. But everything else was like, yeah, we were playing with guns that were like very lowest amount of tech you could possibly get. The only lower tech was if we like threw the BBs at each other.
Yeah, I think a good parallel here would be, if you guys are into cars at all, the car scene, right? So like in the car scene, you've got people that are just like, they're just car people, right? They just like their car for what it is. And then you got the people who do track, right? And all they buy is the purpose-built upgrades for those cars so that they can track and make them the fastest or whatever. And that's fine.
Yeah.
And then those guys constantly, make fun of the people who just want to put wheels and buy every gaudy thing that they want. That doesn't mean that one is better than the other. It's just both really don't understand how the other is into cars.
And different levels of enjoyment.
And they're both appreciating cars for the same reasons, just different, what I mean? So in a different way. And Airsoft is kind of the same way. Whether you spend $200 on a pair of pants or $40 on a pair of pants, as long as you are wearing pants.
I mean,
I don't know where I was going with that.
I was gonna say, is this a new subsector?
Sorry. I think my main pitch is like I have found that I do spend more money on certain items of clothing and gear, mostly because the more expensive clothing tends to be more durable over time, and I don't like replacing things often. And I think that there's more time and effort put into like how they fit and how they move, and so
I was gonna say
they're more comfortable in really high activity situations.
Yeah, like if it were just weekend games that we were playing, like just a couple hours at a time or whatever, it might be fine. But like as you start to spend more time in your gear, you really notice all the things that annoy you about like little things.
Yeah,
and if you have the ability to change that, you can. But do I think that it's necessarily but at the same time, I don't think those big, huge, 12-hour milsim games are the only way to have fun in Airsoft.
No.
And I think that's the best application of the nicer gear is those longer games that you spend more time in your gear and you spend more time using your stuff.
Although, I would say on a hot day, crotch vents are perfect 5 minutes in.
Oh, yeah.
And 12 hours.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So UF Pros, check them out.
But I wouldn't say that they are the end all be all to having a good time.
I would say if you're thinking about cries, try UF Pros.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Plug.
Yeah, he's got a lot of UF Pros.
No, you're right. I sold some of my cries to get more UF Pros, actually.
Whoa,
I
them's
only
words.
I only have the one pair left.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then I have two pairs of UF Pros.
Yeah. All right, you want to do one more question?
Last one.
Oh, wait, is this you or me? Hold on.
No, it's
Me.
you. It's
Okay,
you.
last question of the episode,
It's
guys.
you. It's you.
Thanks for joining us on this exciting episode, and then we've got an announcement by the end. Let's see here. Okay. Insert. This one's from Sarah Fowles. Insert starter question following up from AEG versus HPA. Oh, this is a starter question.
Oh, okay.
Well, we're going to have it as an ending question.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Okay. I heard you say that there is an in-stock canister type thing for HPA.
Yeah.
I've been
There
waiting
is.
for this for years. In parentheses, refuse to be tethered, in parentheses. Can you explain for me, can any AEG be retrofitted to use this in-stock platform? If so, how? Also, would this be suitable for a DMR? Thank you. There is, actually.
There's
fact,
a couple, actually.
Yeah, there are two that I remember off the top of my head.
3 that I can think of.
Really? Okay,
personally.
so Wolverine Wraith stock.
Yeah, that's one.
And the Wolverine Wraith stock comes in a variety of styles.
Yeah.
Most of them are CO2. And then depending on what receiver you have, the Wraith stock, there is one for you. And then the other one that I can remember is the Polar Star Universal Gas stock.
Yeah.
And the Universal Gas stock also comes in a variety of thread patterns for the back of your receiver. The caveat for both of these, though, is that each one needs to be used with its corresponding brand's HPA unit. Like the Wolverine has to be used with Wolverine's HPA
yeah.
system. Polar Star has to be
makes
used with
sense.
Polar Star's HPA system. And I think the Wraith is only for AR M4 buffer tubes.
I think both of them are only for...
And the UGS, I think, can also be used with like MP5s, the 417. There are a couple more options for
okay.
that one, but
I'm not as versed on that, so I wouldn't know exactly. I'm sure that there's somebody who is into HPA in the comments that can fill us in exactly which ones they fit. But as far as I'm aware, most of them are for an M4 style platform.
Right.
Yeah.
The Universal Gas stock, and I think they're working on another one. I swear Polar Star was working on another one that was buffer tube size. So basically, the Universal Gas stock uses a bottle, and then you have to use a stock that fits over that.
Oh, well, no, they do have one that fits.
I don't remember what that's
that
called
fits.
now.
I think it's just a different tube for that, but
Yeah.
it's because it's part of their system.
Yeah.
So it's like, you have the one that's a bigger, like it's a
tube.
13 cubic inch like HPA tank, and then there's also ones that take the 88 gram CO2 cartridge, and then there's also ones that take two 12 grams stacked against each other, I think.
Right. Okay.
Right?
So and then
Yeah.
the Wolverine is the same dimension as an AR buffer tube.
Yeah.
And so you can put on any stock you want.
Yeah, and the last one that I don't even know if they still make it anymore is the Redline stock. That was the original one. That's one Dave Bax used to have on his setup, and he really liked that. I don't know if it's still in production anymore, and I think that some of the newer offerings are a little bit more refined, because this one was kind of like a wire stock that was fitted around a 13 cubic inch gas tank, I think.
I don't think we carry it. So.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still in production, but the newer Polar Star and Wolverine options I think are very well refined for what they do.
Yeah.
And those are what I would go with right now if I were to choose that.
And this question kind of harkens back to when we were talking about earlier, bolt action versus, AEG or even HPA DMRs. If you're looking, for some real impressive performance out of a DMR, HPA is a great way to go. Especially if you can, break away from the tank a little bit and give you a little bit more maneuverability.
Flexibility, yeah.
With that said, we're going to end the episode on an announcement. Talking to you guys about something exciting that's coming up next month, but you're going to start to see announcements for it and information this month. Tell us about it, Ryan.
It's our 20th anniversary.
Yes, it is.
It's been 20 years of business. That's kind of insane.
It is insane.
It's kind of insane.
Yeah.
But Yeah, so then the 20th anniversary is going to happen throughout the month, I think, right? We're going to be hitting a couple locations too, right?
So throughout the month of October, there's going to be, if you guys were familiar with last year, we couldn't do an Airsoft con, and it absolutely sucked, and we hated being away from you guys, but we tried to do a bunch of giveaways and make it at least a little bit more palatable being stuck at home. So we're expanding that to an entire month of celebrations to celebrate our 20th anniversary here at Evike.com by doing some traveling. So we might be coming to an area near you in the month of October. And we're going to be doing giveaways, and we're going to be doing a lot of really, really cool stuff.
Yeah. So many cool things.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Cool things.
It's going to be cool.
And Ryan's working on a special project. That I think is a super
it'll be
super cool insight into something you guys might not.
I think it'll be something that not a whole lot of people. I think it'll fill in the questions that a lot of questions I get when I go to events.
I mean, we're still going to get those questions.
Right, because no one's going to watch the video. But I mean, it'll.
At least we can just.
I'm just going to
give them a link.
I'm going to give like QR codes out.
Yeah,
just be like,
here,
just look at it. I'm tired of answering this question.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be cool.
Yeah, but we're excited to share our 20th anniversary with you guys, and it can't come fast enough. We've still got to wait an entire month until we can get the ball rolling. But know that exciting things are coming up in October to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Evike.com, and we can't wait to celebrate with you guys. Yeah. Ryan, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And we will have you on here more often.
Maybe.
Who knows? If you guys want to see more of Ryan, put it in the comments. If you've got a question for the next Not So Round Table, we need your questions. Please submit a question, suggestion, a product idea, something you'd like to talk about in the first 5 minutes of the show.
All that kind of stuff.
And we'll see you guys later.
Okay, bye.
Want even more Airsoft content? Hit the subscribe button and click the bell notification icon. Follow us on Instagram and join our Facebook for epic weekly giveaways.